Good morning, everybody. Matt Moda here to give you my favorite MLB home run predictions for today. We are talking Thursday, August 28th. Happy Thursday, everybody. The Dong Report is back in your life. I'm going to have 7 total players on Dong Watch for today. Of course, going to give you my 3 favorites if that's what you would prefer. I highly recommend spraying the board. That's where I have had the most success. Unfortunately, that success did not carry into yesterday, when we went 0 for 7 on my home run plays, down a little bit over a unit yesterday. Of these 7, Tatis came really close. He hit the ball hard 4 times. He sent a baseball 390 feet, did not clear a fence, and none of the other guys really came that close to hitting a home run. Tough day yesterday. Of course, that comes off of one of the best days we've had all year on Tuesday. And then we also had an amazing day on Monday. So naturally, 2 great days in a row. You're going to have a stinker. That happens. That's classic Dong life. But on the year, up 7.8 units, up 5.5% ROI. None of that stuff sounds incredible in the grand scheme of things, but when you kind of consider the ride that the season has been, I'm happy to be at the 7.8 unit mark. And really, it's gone well since June 21st, up 14.5 units, a little over that amount since June 21st, which is really when the run started. So hopefully we can have a good day today after a tough one yesterday and 2 amazing ones on Monday and Tuesday. It's a decent Dong slate, couple good games in the green, and then the White Sox game is pretty good as well with winds blowing out to right field. I'll have a play in these top 4 games you see here, and then I'll have a play and I'll 2 actually in this Cardinals game. Don't worry, I'm not taking any Cardinals. I've sworn that team off. But we can get right into it. So I will admit, those of you that don't like taking players that just hit home runs yesterday, you're not going to love today's Dong Report. Unfortunately, a lot of guys hit home runs yesterday, and there are not a lot of games today, so you kind of have limited options. But just a heads up, taking Profar, and I'm taking Michael Harris the second to hit a home run. The odds on them are decent. Profar is 440 at FanDuel, and Michael Harris is 475 at ESPN Bet is the best offered price on those 2. Now, of my favorites, Profar is the first of the 3 favorites that I have for today. He's just been on fire. Like, I know he hit 2 home runs yesterday. I get it. But 4 barrels, 12 hard hits over the last week is really, really good. You look at the last 2 weeks, 6 barrels, 22 hard hits is fantastic. Those are 2 really, really impressive numbers. He's also hit 6 home runs, so he has been able to clear fences. Michael Harris, admittedly, his hot streak was like a couple weeks ago. At this point, 4 barrels, 19 hard hits over the last 2 weeks, and he's got 1 barrel and 7 hard hits over the last week. But Michael Harris had been really good before that. Like, if you just look at the last 30 days, and I'm just looking at ISO rate against right-handed pitching, Michael Harris leads the Braves at 338. That's a good number, and Profar is not that far behind him at 333. So Michael Harris, he did hit the home run yesterday, and he had been on such a run within the last 30 days that I'm okay taking him, even though he's not the hottest when you consider like the last week. Both of them had good days yesterday, as I mentioned. Profar, 103 off the bat, 102 off the bat. He hit 2 home runs. Being able to do that at the Marlins Stadium is pretty impressive. Now he goes to the bank, which is the best weather game of the day from a venue and weather perspective. Michael Harris also had 100 miles an hour off the bat. This one was not a home run. He got a little too much under it, but then the home run he hit was 99.2. So 2 good games for both of these guys. And we're getting them at above plus 400, which I like. And they're going up against Aaron Nola, who's just an absolute home run machine. A home run allowed every 13 at-bats to left-handed hitters. This is on the entire year. Now, Nola missed a ton of time due to injury. So if you just look at his last 2 starts, it's better, but still not good. Home run under every 20 at-bats against lefties over the last 6 weeks. Is more of what I'm looking at. Home run every 14 at-bats allowed over the last 6 weeks. And that's over his last 2 starts because, again, he missed a ton of time to injury. Both of them actually were against the Nationals. But it's really not looking good for Aaron Nola. He's always been a home run machine. And the Braves have historically annihilated him in the past. Now, it's not, Profar, this is his first year on the Braves, doesn't have great success against them, has a lot of at-bats. Profar's really come along the last 2 years. And granted, he still doesn't have a ton of success, just a couple slap singles. But Harris is the one who recently has done really well against Nola. His last at-bat against him was a home run. This was last year. He also had a double and a single last year. The year before that, he had a double. So ton of at-bats, Not incredible success, but a home run and a couple extra base hits is not terrible. And Nola's just been really, really struggling against lefties this year. So I think there are a lot of factors in favor of both of these two guys on the Braves. That's played number 1 and 2, again, with Profar being one of the 3 favorites. Next up, the second of the 3 favorites is Mickey Moniak. We are taking him to hit a home run. He is best offered at plus, I believe, 475 at DraftKings. Yep, that is the best offered price on Mickey Moniak. Ballpark Pal likes him. They have his true odds below 400. We're getting him at 475, so this is a positive EV play on DraftKings. Now, if you look at the last week for Mickey Moniak, it's not going to be that impressive, right? You're going to see 2 barrels, but only 4 hard hits. But the last game he played was when he got both of those barrels. Now, he didn't play yesterday because the Rockies played against a left-handed pitcher, and he doesn't play against lefties. But the last game he played, 3 hard hits, 2 barrels. That's a really, really good day. Now, that was back on the 26th. So, all right, let's look in to that game, kind of see how that went. And you look at the EV logs of that game. Obviously, you know they need to be hit hard with the 2 barrels, but we see 106.7, 105.2. Just get that launch angle up a little bit more, and that's a dong. And then he hit one 395 feet. So his last game was really, really impressive. So we're kind of hoping we can catch him before he goes on a run where you see a bunch of barrels and hard hits over the last week. And I really like the matchup he's going up against. Jason Alexander, not the guy from Seinfeld, is pitching for the Astros. He's been better in the home run department against lefties, but you look at these numbers, none of them are good. Like it's really luck that he hasn't allowed a ton of home runs recently. And a home run every under 30 at bats is not terrible, but the fly ball line drive rate is above average. The hard hit rate, almost 60%, is terrible. 8.5% barrel rate is bad, all with a pretty low strikeout rate below 20%. Then you look at the year for him, and he's allowed a home run every 22 at-bats against lefties. And you see the numbers are still pretty bad. So it's really been luck recently that he hasn't allowed a ton of home runs, but I do think that there are a lot of factors in favor of Mickey Moniak in this one. Ballpark Pal, I mentioned, really likes it. They have him as a positive EV play. The weather is average. They're playing in the Astros home stadium, which is a dome. It's basically neutral, so nothing really good or bad from a weather perspective. I just like the matchup, and I like that Moniak is coming off of his best game in a while. So we're kind of hoping we can catch him again in the middle or before he goes on a streak. And then the third of my 3 favorites is Ben Rice, another player that hit a home run yesterday, but another player that I think we're getting pretty good odds, plus 400 on him at DraftKings. Ballpark Pal, slightly positive EV at plus, or they have him at 381. We're getting him at 400. Rice, he hit a home run yesterday. He had a really, really impressive day at the plate. Obviously, the Yankees hit 1 million home runs, but he had 4 hard hits yesterday and 5 at-bats. That's really impressive. The other one he struck out, but he had 109 off the bat. That was a single. Another single that was 104 miles an hour off the bat. The home run was 100 miles an hour off the bat, and then he had another line out that was over 100. So that's 4 hits, all above 100 EV, and he's got a pretty good matchup against Davis Martin of the White Sox. He's allowed a home run every 20 at-bats to lefties on the year. Decent numbers across the board, some good, some bad, highlighted by the low strikeout rate and the high hard hit rate. And then the last 6 weeks for him, he's allowed a home run every 17 at-bats to lefties, with most numbers across the board worse, except for the barrel rate went down, but everything else is pretty bad. So the matchup for him is pretty good. Again, Ballpark Pal really likes it. They have it as a plus 10 extreme advantage in favor of Ben Rice, looking at they look at a ton of stuff. They look at pitch mix, they look at location, they look at how the pitcher gets up and down in the count. There's a ton of factors that go in to this rating. And then this is one of the good weather games of the day, plus 9. There's going to be double-digit winds blowing out to right field. That's going to help a left-handed hitter like Ben Rice. And then you look at Ben Rice recently, he's been doing a really good job. He's got 4 barrels, 11 hard hits over the last week. That's fantastic. That's the most hard hits and leads are tied with the league in barrels, with the team in barrels. Then you look at the last 2 weeks, 8 barrels, 19 hard hits. That's fantastic. You compare those barrels league-wide, how many is 8 compared to the league leaders? One of 9 batters with 8 or more barrels over the last 2 weeks, which is, again, very, very impressive. So I like Ben Rice a lot. I looked at his home road splits. I was worried that he might get the added benefit of playing at the Yankees home stadium, relatively neutral home road splits in terms of home runs. So nothing really to be concerned of there. So he's in play number 4 in the last of my 3 favorites. So the 3 favorites were Jurickson Profar, Mickey Moniak, and Ben Rice. Next up, I'm going to have 2 players on the Pirates, probably the only day this year where I've taken 2 players on the Pirates. I'm taking Brian Reynolds and I'm taking Jared Triolo to hit a home run. Now, I will say, Ballpark Pal absolutely loves basically everybody on the Pirates in this game. Spencer Horvitz is their highest positive EV play of the entire day. Brian Reynolds is not that far behind him. They like Henry Davis, they like Tommy Pham, and they like Jared Triolo. And now I only took 2 because the Pirates are very, very stinky. And, you know, if I have a bad day today, I'm not going to be upset that I went with like 7 Pirates, of course. So I limited it to 2, the 2 best options that I thought. Now, the odds on them are really good. 560 for Brian Reynolds, 900 for Jared Triolo. So keep in mind that the odds are pretty good numbers. And there's a couple factors in favor of them. Number 1, they're going up against one of the most dong ball pitchers in the entire MLB this season, and Miles Mikolas. Home run allowed every 14 and a half at-bats to lefties over the last 6 weeks. Horrific numbers across the board. I mean, he strikes out fewer than 10% of the batters. Barrel rate, 11%. Now, the hard hit rate, I admit, is lower than you would expect, as is the line drive rate. Unfortunately, the fly ball rate is high. That's over the last 6 weeks. You look at him on the entire year, home run allowed every 18 at-bats. So he's been much, much worse recently, which is important for us because you're looking at recent form. I definitely put heavier weight on recent form. And then you look at the Pirates. Basically, how I landed on these 2 on the Pirates is I looked at the last week, and I looked at, all right, who leads the team in barrels? Jared Triolo does with a respectable 7 hard hits, and he's hit 2 home runs. So it's not like he hasn't been able to clear a fence. 2 home runs in the last week, 3 barrels is good. 7 hard hits is acceptable. And then I also took the batter who leads the team in hard hits, which is Mr. Brian Reynolds. 9 hard hits is a decent number over the last week. 2 barrels is acceptable. He's also cleared a fence over the last week as well. I will admit Reynolds typically performs better against left-handed pitchers. He's a switch hitter, but Reynolds has pretty good success against Miles Mikolas. You look at him, 20 plate appearances, so a lot. His last at-bat against him was a home run. Then he had 2 flyouts prior to that. Now, one of them wasn't really that impressive, was always going to be out, or was always going to be like a flyout. But the other one could have been a home run. You look at the EV on that one, 99 miles per hour off the bat, 344 feet. Like, that's not terrible. Then obviously the other at-bat was a home run. He hit a triple off of him last year, and then he also hit a double off of him back in 22. So lots of plate appearances and lots of success. I really, if I'm being honest, I don't understand a ton why Ballpark Pal likes the Pirates so much, unless you just think that this pitcher is so stinky, which is totally reasonable. From a weather perspective, Busch Stadium, I think it's decent from a weather perspective, but they don't have a great stadium for home runs. So this is a trust in Ballpark Pal play against a very, very stinky pitcher. And then again, taking the batter who leads the team in barrels, and then the batter who leads the team in hard hits. And I will admit, I also considered Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. I'm probably butchering your name, and I apologize, because he had a decent day at the plate yesterday. He just doesn't really hit for any power. He's kind of like, he's not a power hitter, so I didn't go with him. But the odds on him were very, very high at plus 1,800, plus 1,900. So if that one comes through, that would be impressive. Granted, I wouldn't have any money on it. And then the last play of the day, a sick name, Blaze Alexander, were taken to hit a home run. Now, he's another batter that did just go yard yesterday, but another batter that you also have to consider the price on, plus 800 at Bet365 and FanDuel, and that actually went up to 850 on DK. That's high. I only got the 800 number, so 850 is better than what I got. Another really highly positive EV play. They have him down at 576. We're getting him at 800, 850. So yes, he did hit a home run yesterday. He had a pretty good day at the plate overall. You look at his day at the plate, and he had the home run. He had 2 hard hits total, and he had the home run that was 98.5 miles an hour off the bat, but he also had a line out that was actually hit harder than that, 100.6. You look at him recently, the Diamondbacks, he has 7 hard hits and 3 barrels over the last week, which is the same numbers as Jared Triolo. They're average, they're not incredible. The barrel number is pretty good. Fly ball rate and pull rate are high, which we like to see. But he's done a really good job hitting left-handed pitching which is what he's going to be facing. So you look at lefties over the last 30 days. Blaze Alexander, 286 ISO rate against lefties over the last 30 days is pretty good. You look at against left-handed pitching over the last 30 days, other numbers. He's got 9% barrel rate, 40% hard hit rate is okay. Game day insights is a little bit harder. Their like stats are always a little bit worse than plate IQ, so I do like to look at both. When it comes to like ISO rate, or it comes to barrel rate and hard hit rate stuff, ISO rate's always going to be the same. But the pitcher they're going up against, Jose Quintana, has been not good. Home run allowed every 31 at-bats to righties on the year. You say, okay, that doesn't seem that bad. Over the last 6 weeks, all the way down to every 14 at-bats. So it just shows how much worse he has been recently compared to the entire year. And all these numbers are terrible. I mean, the line drive and fly ball rate is disgusting. The hard hit rate, the barrel rate, the low strikeout rate, every single number here is bad. We're getting a decently hot hitter and a good environment, plus 13% home run index. And we're getting him at plus 800, plus 850 odds. So I do think that the price on him is solid. Ballpark Pal did like this game a decent amount too. The only player that I'm taking is Blaze, but Gurriel, not a bad look at 750. They love Gerald Perdomo, who you can get a pretty good price at. So you want to go, again, you really want to spray the board, take 3 Diamondbacks and like 5 Pirates, and then really see what happens. But I'm just rocking with the 7 that I have, which we will do a recap, and then we will get on out of here. Jurickson, Profar, Michael Harris, with Profar being one of the 3 favorites. Brian Reynolds and Jared Triolo. Mickey Moniak, Ben Rice, with both of them being the remaining 2 favorites. And then Blaze, very cool name, Alexander. That's all we got. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like the video, comment, subscribe. Check out a link to Ballpark Pal in the description of the video. I also put a link to my Tails account as well, which is just where I send every play out. Make sure to bet responsibly and have a good one.